Today, we're looking at Fanatical's Winter Mystery Bundle, and yeah, let's get into it. Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Adrian Reddix, and today we're looking at Fanatical's Winter Mystery Bundle. This bundle usually is $6.99, and you have 10 mystery games that you don't know what they are. So you pay the money, and they give you 10 mystery Steam keys, and you just get what you get. I've done this before in the past. It's usually one of my favorite videos to do because I like experiencing new things, and I don't know what I like until it's in front of me. It's kind of like how you discover, or how I used to discover music, is you listen to a radio and the radio person has access to all this music and they play you something that you don't have control over, and sometimes you like what they play and sometimes you don't. And that's why in the early 2000s, whenever the internet radio things started happening, you got exposed to all these different types of music that your local radio stations didn't play. But we're going off on a tangent now. So this bundle, I bought the first bundle and it gave you my 10 mystery keys. But I own about 4 or 5 of these games already. I didn't think that would be fun for me to review these games again. Like Skyhill, great game, but do you want to hear me talk about it again? My opinion hasn't changed about the game. I still like it. So I bought a second bundle, and again, I had a bunch of games that I had already, and Skyhill showed up again. Great game, I just don't need 3 copies of it. So I took games from one bundle and the other bundle and combined them to make 10. So this is kind of a create my own mystery bundle. The bundles cost $6.99 a piece, but we're just gonna treat it as one mystery bundle, and we'll have 5 this video, 5 the next video. So it's 10 games, mystery games, $6.99. And I play these games 20 to 40 minutes just to see if I like the game, or how was it, or whatever. The first game is a game called Dreamland Solitaire. Card game, yes. So it's a progression. So every level you have a puzzle that you have to solve in the form of playing solitaire. So if you're familiar with Microsoft Solitaire Collection, which I think on some versions of Windows comes with it, you have a game, you have your different types of solitaire. You have a game called Tri-Peaks. And this game is similar to Tri-Peaks, where you have a base card at the bottom, and then you have to match a card with it that's either above it or below it. So if you have a 5 of clubs, it doesn't really matter the suit. You either get a card that's a 6 or a 7 to play from the main board down to here. So I'll show you. What makes this different than Tri-Peaks is that, of course, it has a couple cool designs on how it lays the cards out. What also is good, it adds levels of complication to it. So let's say you have a card that's behind these wood things. So you have to bring a axe card to your base to chop the wood off the card. You'll have sometimes up to 3 or 4 or 5 pieces of wood that you have to chop to free the card. They also have locks. They'll lock a card down where you have to put a bunch of the cards to the base. Let's say it's like solitaire. So you have the card behind 3 cards. So you have to play those 3 cards to get the lock. You get what I'm saying. It's a very relaxing game. You're building this bridge and house. I don't know what you're building it for. Really fun game, really relaxing. It's a casual game, but it's solitaire, but when they add the little complexity to it, it makes it more interesting because every level, of course, gets progressively harder. When I first saw the game, if you're into gaming, when you start seeing fairies and magic and all this other stuff, you're like, okay, well, it's not gonna be a great game. But if you're looking for a game that's relaxing and de-stressing, I mean, you can't get much better than this. You know, there's no people jumping out from behind a rock trying to shoot you, or you don't have to superly concentrate on a racetrack or anything like that. It's just a game you play to relax, and I like it. On Steam, I couldn't find a rating for this game. It was like 13 reviews and they all were positive. So I'm just going to assume it's 10 out of 10. I don't know. Big Fish Gaming, which is the only big time platform I can find that had a rating on this game, gave it a 4 out of 5. I think that is the correct number, 4 out of 5. I'll give you 4 out of 5 Adrians. And the cost of this is $6.99. So, hey, we got one of our bundles paid for right there. $6.99. I would definitely play this game again. I think it's going to be a part of the rotation because I have games that I throw in my rotation from these mystery games, because that's the point of these bundles. Find games that you wouldn't normally buy them, play them, and you might like them. I've had a couple games, a lot of games I found doing these mystery bundles that are part of my weekly rotation that I play. 911 Operator being the most fun game I like to play from these bundles. The next game is a game called Ancient Stories: Gods of Egypt. It's another casual game like Dreamland Solitaire. But what this does, it takes Bejeweled, which I'm sure you're familiar with, and turns it into an Egyptian thing. You're matching gems. That's what this is. It's another one of those games where you just sit back and relax. But unlike Bejeweled and Candy Crush, this game isn't played with microtransaction. I'll tell you why. So the power-ups you usually use in Candy Crush and Bejeweled, you have to do some crazy combination where you get a bunch of gems to come together and give you things. This happens in that game too, but instead of when you run out and paying for more, you have these gods that you collect, right? And you build statues for these gods, right? Once you hit a certain number, like I think it's 8, once you clear 8 gems of a certain god's color, they give you a special power up. And it usually has something to do with, getting rid of gems. Or one of the power ups is to give you more gems of a certain color. So instead of microtransaction you to death, you earn the power ups that are in the game. That's a big plus that this has over Bejeweled and Candy Crush. The negative this thing has over those two is, let's say whenever you're playing Candy Crush or Bejeweled, whenever you win the level, if you have any special gems, that they'll start cascading and exploding. Once you win this, you win. There's no extra excitement. And that's another con of this game, is the excitement level isn't on the same par as those two games. I keep saying Bejeweled and Candy Crush because those are the games that are, to me, the most familiar in this genre of jewel puzzle games, I guess. But that being said, even though it's not as exciting and as just like in your face like a slot machine, it's still a good game because you pay for the game and you don't have to pay any more money for it. You get these power-ups that you can earn. And then the animation isn't great on this. I mean, it's bad animation. As far as when the characters start moving, it's not good. At the end of each temple, because you have these pyramids, right? So each level has a pyramid that has up to like 20, 40 levels per pyramid. And once you get to the end, you have to face the boss. Why you have to face the boss, I'm pretty sure they said it in the beginning in the story, but he doesn't threaten you. He just shows up, and each time you clear jewels of a certain, he had like 3 different jewels, and each time you clear, let's say red jewels, and it would cause hit damage to him. And then after you do all the damage, he just kind of just falls out and dies. It's weird. I don't know. But if you, again, need a game where you want to relax, you want to not think about it, you don't want to be running and gunning and shooting, it's a pretty okay game. The animation and the excitement factor isn't quite there, but for what it is, I mean, it's a good time sink. This is another one I couldn't find a Steam rating on. There was some reviews, So I went to Big Fish Games, which is another platform for these types of games. It received a 3 out of 5. I think 2.5 is a good one. It's average. There's nothing fantastic about it, but there's nothing horrible about it either. And the price is $6.99. So bam, this is a game I would potentially play again. I don't know if it'll be a part of my rotation, but you know, we got our 2 bundles paid for right there. Thank you. So anything else, we're in value territory now. Value territory. The next game. The next game is a club bouncer simulator, which I know how many of those out there exist. Not many. And the game is called Out of the Box. So you play as this character named Warren, who's fresh out of jail, and he needs a job. So he goes back to his former employer, who was some type of mob crime boss, and he wants to get work, but he doesn't want to do the things from his former boss that got him in jail. So they make him a bouncer. So what you do is you are the guy who lets people in the club. And you have certain rules that you have to follow, like no homeless people, no drunk people, or no people underage. So you're checking IDs, having conversations with people, turning people away. You even have to resolve conflicts, break up fights, fight people. So it's one of those choice simulators. Like, you're like, okay, show me ID, you gotta go, or you're drunk, you gotta go. It's a game that can get repetitive, but they spice it up just enough so it's not repetitive, like, oh no, what is this? It also goes through different things. You have different cutscenes where Warren has to meet with his parole officer, and you have a cutscene where it seems like he's dealing with some type of mental issue, where he goes to the doctor to get medicine, and he's all closed off and rude and mean, and it seems like it's more embarrassment than anything. So it's a game that keeps things lighthearted, but it seems like it just skims over some issues just to add a little flavor to the game, as far as like, this is an ex-con trying to get back in society, which, if you follow prison, I'm not trying to get political or anything, but if you follow prison reform, felons have a hard time getting jobs. People say that they pay their debt to society, but you don't treat them like they paid their debt. You still treat them like they're felons and criminals, and we just gotta do better with that. But anyway, so it goes through that lightheartedly, going through a con or a ex-felon trying to get back on his feet and trying to do what's right. This game did have a Steam rating. It was 9 out of 10. The cost was $14.99, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. It's a pretty fun game. It's another one of these casual games where nobody's jumping out and trying to get you. Nobody is doing anything where you have your blood pressure to rise. And it's just a game. It is what it is. It's just a game you can sink a whole bunch of time into. A nice, relaxing game. You may have to pop a couple people, but that's fine. I mean, you're a bouncer, you're a big guy, and they're not going to hurt you. The next game. The next game is a game called Reign of Reflections. It calls itself a cyberpunk role-playing adventure game, which it's pretty accurate. You start off as a scientist named Willona, I don't remember her last name, and you're going to go meet somebody for something. So you put this jacket on, and it makes you turn invisible. All right. You get a call from your mom. Your mom's some type of political figure or business person who has a lot of power. There's this resistance is happening. She wants you to be secure, aka she wants to control you. So you have to slip through her defenses. She has the ability to lock you up. So this gets into one of the first modes of the game, which is hacking. It's like little mini games so that you can hack your way through the world. So you get in there and you play your little mini game and you hack the system. You have to hide from guards and the people that she sends to come and get you. So the second part of this game is it becomes a turn-based strategy game. And if you ever watched any video that I've done about these mystery bundles, you know that my favorite genre is turn-based strategy. Love them, love them, love them. So you do things in this turn-based strategy, and it's really good mechanics, really good ways to hide and move throughout the world. And between these two game mechanics, you have kind of like a heavy rain type deal, that each dialogue that you choose when you're interacting with the other characters determines what happens in either the rest of the game or your current situation. So if you choose the wrong thing, it'll send you on a different path. Or it's not necessarily the wrong thing, but if you choose something different, you know, so the game has consequences and rewards for doing specific things. So it's kind of like 3 games in one: a hacking game, a turn-based strategy game, and like a interactive drama type game. It's a really, really good game. So the premise why everything is going on is because the human race is infertile now. So her and her friend want to go and get the last born child, the last natural birth child, and take him somewhere. I'm guessing they'll tell you further in the game. I only got to like an hour in, which, you know, I only play these games for about 40 minutes, and that it kept my attention for an hour tells you something. There was a reviewer on Steam that kind of summed this up pretty good. And they said that this game is if Children of Men and XCOM, which is one of my favorite games of all time, had a baby, you would get this. I would add if Children of Men and XCOM and Heavy Rain had a baby, you would get this game. It seems like they're still fleshing it out, you know, as far as, you know, where will this go? I hadn't finished the game, but I can tell you, it seems like this is something you can turn into a series and do some things. But I really like the gameplay. That you take those 3 elements of turn-based and hacking and interactive drama and put them together. It's really, really good. On Steam, this game got a 9 out of 10, and the cost was $9.99, and I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5. It's just a really good game. The last game of this series, the 5th game of the bundle, is a game called Clockwork Tales of Glass and Ink. This is basically a steampunk adventure game. You know, those games that if you go to Walmart, you have your AAA titles, and anything that's not a AAA title, they sell still on a physical disc. This is the type of game that is. It's a puzzle game. It's a casual puzzle game. You know, it doesn't have the best of animation. It's one of those games where you know, it's a hidden objects game, pretty much a hidden objects plus puzzle. So you have to find the object and put it in a place, and you do that until But it doesn't mean it's not a good game. These games seem to, in my opinion, be more geared towards women, older women who aren't really into the first-person shooters and all that other thing. Or not necessarily women, but that's who I see play it. I think we have to, and this is me getting on my soapbox again, I think we have to, as a gaming community, realize that there's more than one type of game and more than one type of gamer. Just because you don't play Call of Duty or Fortnite or whatever doesn't mean you're not as valid as a gamer or a gamer, period. You're still a gamer, you just game on different things, right? And this is what this is. You still are a gamer if this is the type of game that you like. You play as this agent called Evangeline Glass, who's meeting her professor, Ambrose, Dr. Ambrose Inc., and he has to tell her something. But when they meet up, and this is what happens in a lot of these games. Some big event happens where something's destroyed, and you have to start piecing things together. And so you just interact with the world, getting things, just piecing them together. It's a big puzzle game. A big hidden venture / puzzle game. Is this going to be a game that's going to be super exciting? No. But if you like a game where it's casual and there's no big stakes and you don't have to be super reactive, it's a great game. The most horrible thing about this game are the accents. Now, I'm debating whether I'm going to play it for you so you can hear it, because the last time I did this, I got hit with a DMCA strike. That was, but the accents are horrible in this game. They're bad. I don't know if they're trying to be German or some Eastern European accent, but they're bad. They're bad. And that's the only critique I can really give this game. It's just the voice acting is horrible. But for what it is, it's a pretty good game. This game received a 9 out of 10 on Steam, and the cost was $9.99. And I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. It's not a bad game. It's what it is. It's just a good casual game for people who want to have good casual fun. That's it. Thank you guys for joining me. If you liked this video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give me a thumbs down. Tell me why you didn't like this video. Hit subscribe if you like videos like this. We do a lot of mystery gaming bundles. We build some gaming bundles. We do some tech advice, some product reviews, and you know, sometimes we do some IT career questions. So thank you guys for joining me. Have a good one. Catch you next time.